What's up, Celtics Nation? It's James Anderson here, bleeding green and a diehard Celtics fan. If you love this jersey as much as I do, hit that subscribe button right now and smash the like button to strengthen our community. Today, behind the scenes in Boston, things caught fire in a way nobody expected. Statements from the highest levels of the front office leaked and shook the locker room's foundation before the new season even tips off. Drastic decisions were made that could change our future forever. Do you truly trust the franchise's direction, or are we heading straight for an absolute disaster with these recent moves? You know that being a fan of this franchise requires a strong heart. Over the last few months, we felt firsthand what it's like to go through a roller coaster of emotions behind the scenes. Just when things seem calm, a massive bucket of cold water or a bombshell drops to shift the entire structure of our team. And today, the franchise owner, Bill Chisholm, decided to break his silence. He opened up about the most controversial and criticized front office move in recent history. Everyone was demanding a reasonable explanation. The pressure from the fan base reached stratospheric levels. Nobody could stand the mystery anymore about who had the final say in that roster-altering blockbuster trade. The truth that came out of his mouth left a lot of people in shock, revealing how the emotion of being a fan almost sabotaged everything. I'm talking about that painful and inexplicable trade for so many of us. The departure of our idol, Jaylen Brown, to a rival. Hearing the owner admit that this was the hardest decision of his life really messes with us. Chisholm confessed in an interview today that he simply didn't want to approve the deal at all. He said that, as a true Celtics fan, the idea of losing Brown deeply broke his heart. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, it tore ours apart too. Seeing a guy who bled for a decade wearing our jersey end up on the Philadelphia 76ers is an absolute punch to the gut. The fan base on social media went crazy, the message boards caught fire, and the outrage in the streets was immediate. But that's where the cold strategy comes in. The part we have to try and swallow, even when our blind passion screams much louder. Chisholm explained that Brad Stevens and the basketball operations department had to work extremely hard to convince him. According to him, we have the best basketball minds working around the clock in our front office, analyzing every possible scenario. And when those guys came with the conviction that bringing in Paul George and draft picks would save our future, he backed down. He felt the enormous weight of being an executive and had to lock his fan side in the closet. The boss even said you'd have to be a sociopath not to worry about the immediate fury this trade would cause among our passionate and demanding fan base. And we all know the pressure cooker in Boston brutally crushes anyone without nerves of steel and pure emotional intelligence. Waikuri, as the owner, his primary responsibility was to protect and advance the franchise's unquestionable legacy of eternal winning. It's a cold and calculating mindset that hurts at first, but in top-tier modern sports, personal loyalty often loses its sacred place to the cold focus of solely winning championships. Now, the colossal responsibility has fallen entirely on the bold shoulders of Brad Stevens. If this gamble fails miserably on the court, this historic front office will be slaughtered by the Celtics masses. But while we're freaking out about these revelations from the top, don't think things are quiet on the sacred hardwood. Because all this heavy tension weighed too much, and one of our own players just picked a massive fight against the harsh critics. The vibe inside the locker room is very weird, my friends. Everyone knows the atmosphere has gotten incredibly heavy since our former number 7 packed his bags. The team's vibes have dropped concerningly, and the entire media has already started spreading the narrative that our absolute reign in the East is over. They're saying daily that the other teams loaded up much better and that our roster lost its soul, but there are guys in there who won't take this disrespect lying down. One of our giants in the paint decided to speak up today and send a direct message to the haters. He's tired of hearing that we no longer have enough talent to fight at the top. I'm talking about our big man, Neemias Queta. He gave a strong interview today showing an absurd level of confidence that gives you chills. Queta made it crystal clear that the current group, perfectly united with our coach, has absolutely everything it takes to destroy the most pessimistic predictions. And you know what? He's not just blowing smoke. Our front office acted stealthily in the market and brought in an insurmountable wall to play physically right next to him. The surgical free agent signing of Mitchell Robinson was a spectacular strike against our biggest rivals in New York. We finally have that monstrous rim protector and relentless offensive rebounder we desperately missed during last year's painful season. The entire fan base was begging for a big body like that to lock down the paint with pure aggression and demand real respect from opponents. But that's exactly where our massive and terrifying tactical dilemma comes in, completely dividing the massive fan base. Our head coach, Joe Mazzulla, is the reigning coach of the year, and nobody can take that away from him. but his inexplicable stubbornness with frantic three-point shooting is leaving everyone on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Over the last 2 frustrating postseasons, our team simply went ice cold from beyond the arc, and the entire system tragically collapsed without a backup plan. With the giant Robinson planted in the paint, will Mazzulla be humble enough to change this extreme philosophy? On top of that, we have our superstar returning. Jayson Tatum is finally 100% healthy today. Last year, he pushed himself incredibly hard to rush back from that severe Achilles surgery, and we all paid a bitter price. Now, the biggest tactical challenge will be smoothly integrating the veteran Paul George right alongside a completely renewed and vengeance-thirsty Tatum. Our new and unpredictable season tips off on October 20th on the road against a fearless Detroit Pistons squad, and the pressure is already going through the roof. We are the legendary Boston Celtics, and there is simply no margin for error or failure. The clock is ticking, the crucial pieces have been moved, and the heavy chessboard is set. What keeps me up at night right now is trying to predict if all this will blow up beautifully in our favor or terribly in our faces, and this cruel uncertainty is exactly the perfect trigger for the insane debate we need to have together right now. The truth is, we are walking through a minefield. On one side, the front office is betting our history on a very risky plan, sacrificing our great idol out of pure pragmatism. On the other side, the players are promising to shut the whole world up, while the coach needs to prove he learned from all the recent downfalls. Now I want to hear from you. Was this controversial Celtics decision a spectacular hit or a gigantic mistake? What now? Will this drastic change ruin the season, or was it the best possible thing that could have happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.